guys, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to make some of these gorgeous, oh so simple apple, jaggery and walnut breakfast muffins. They're from the Peace Parsnips Vegan Cookbook. They're my take on them, so they're not quite 100% kind of as per the recipe. So obviously any swap outs and things, I will tell you what I have swapped out. So let's get started. Okay guys, so now I've done kind of a bit of prep here, so I'll tell you these swap outs kind of as we go. I've got here, in the recipe it states 85 grams of chopped dates, but I've actually got the 85 grams of chopped dates, and I've also swapped out the 40 grams of sultanas because I'm not a big sultana fan. So I've swapped them out for dates as well, so I've actually got kind of 125 grams, give or take, of dates. And I've just chopped these very finely, or not especially finely actually, I quite like them quite chunky. Just with a pair of scissors is how I find easiest to chop dates. Short of putting them in my mini chopper, I just chop them up with a pair of scissors. So that's those. Then on this little plate here, I've got 1.5 tablespoons of the, it specifies Jaggery, which is unrefined brown sugar. I have used coconut sugar, so that's 1.5 tablespoons of coconut sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of baking powder, and teaspoons of baking powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon there. And then the recipe called for 120 grams of bleached white flour and 100 grams of whole wheat flour. What I have always used to make this recipe is just spelt flour. I have just always used this Dove's Farm brand, and it's wholemeal spelt flour. So again, that's what I've got in there, and that's 220 grams of that spelt flour. And then I have got, where is it? Here. I have got the 2 tablespoons of the sunflower seeds and 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds. Now the pumpkin seeds are in place of poppy seeds, which is what the recipe calls for. So they're just mixed in that bowl. It also specifies for 45 grams of walnuts. So that's my walnuts there. And again, I've just kind of roughly broken them up. And then it asks for 2 green apples or another, I have used another carrot. So it's asked for 2 green apples and 1 small carrot. So what I've actually done is used 3 carrots in total. And again, I have used that substitution in the past and it's always worked, you know, really well. So that's my ingredients. I've got my muffin tin here lined with the muffin cases. Now I think this is very ambitious to have lined it with 12 because personally I never ever find a recipe kind of makes the quantities that they say. So actually in this recipe, it's specifying 6 monster muffins. So I'm hoping to get maybe 8 muffins from this, which is unusual because normally I find it goes the other way, that if it says it makes 12, I can only make 8. But in this instance, I think I can probably make slightly more than the 6. And then the only other thing it needs is for the liquid, it requires 250 ml of water. So that's what I've got here. And then actually, sorry, it did require one other thing, which I had obviously forgotten. So it's required 1.5 tablespoons of flax seeds or chia seeds. So I'm actually going to use this super seed mix. It's a mix of various different kind of seeds which have been ground down to form a fine kind of milled texture. So I shall just add those to that plate, literally just 1.5 tablespoons of that. So that's all my ingredients there, and now we'll just get mixing it all in. So into the mixing bowl I shall pop in the flour, and then I'll pop in this kind of you know, combination of things. So the cinnamon, the coconut sugar, the super seed mix and the baking powder. Just going to give them a quick sort of stir around like that. And then I'll pop in the seeds and the chopped walnuts and the dates there. Just get all of those out. And then just give that all a good kind of mix up. And the reason I'm mixing it now is because before I put the carrot in, because you know, the carrot sometimes kind of clumps together. So now what I've done is with the carrots, I have just grated them on the fine side of the grater. And then because carrots actually hold a lot of moisture, I actually wrung them out slightly so that they weren't quite so moist, because otherwise my muffins would be very soggy, let's just say, kind of in the middle. So I'm just going to kind of put the carrot in like that, and I'll just give that kind of a mix around to get the carrot kind of mixed in there. And can you see it's kind of gone in some clumps in places, so I'll just kind of mix that round just to try and, you know, get them a little bit more evenly spread in the mixture. And then we'll add the water. Now, the reason I haven't added the water yet is because, and I once heard somebody say this, or I might have read it in a recipe, and they said no matter what your muffin texture mixture looks like, do not ever mix more than 15 times, because it will result in tough muffins. So that just stuck with me for some reason, and I do kind of try and abide by that. So even if it looks like they have huge bits of flour that aren't kind of mixed in properly or whatever, I do try and, you know, really stick to that kind of as a guideline. So, you know, and touch wood, muffins normally turn out pretty, you know, pretty nice and not too kind of tough. You know, so I find that kind of a good thing to go by. So that's why I'm kind of stirring it in now a little bit, because I don't want kind of a big lump of carrot kind of just stuck into a muffin. So I thought I'll give it a stir around now, and then hopefully kind of, you know, won't have that situation kind of once the liquid is added. And I have done these muffins lots of times, so I mean, obviously when you're filming, things often do not go as they usually do, but touch wood, it will. You know, and as I say, they've always turned out really nice. So that's my mixture now. And then I've just got my 250 ml of water, which I should just literally add in now. And I'll just pour it all in like that. And then I'll count the stirs. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm just trying to scrape up that last bit down there. So, and that's it. So as you can see, there's lots of bits that don't look like they're mixed very well. But I think, you know, that is fine in a muffin situation. So I'm going to pour my muffin tray over and then get filling the cases. Now, we're a family with a good appetite, so we like big muffins. So I'm going to kind of fill them pretty full. And these are those big giant kind of muffin cases. They're certainly not the kind of, you know, tiny cupcake cases or anything like that. So we'll just fill the cases. Now hopefully my son might help me edit this video, and I can speed this up to spare you watching this slow process of filling my cases. Right, so I'm probably going to stop there and then top up some of the others. So just with the remaining mixture, I shall just kind of top up the others so that I have really nice big muffins. And I'm making this particular batch for our road trip that we're going on, so that we've got plenty of things to snack on while we're in the car and while we're on the road. And in my experience, these muffins, again, they kind of keep pretty well for, you know, certainly a good kind of 3 days or so. And obviously they don't need to be stored in the fridge or anything, so they're perfect for traveling. So that's it. I've used all the mixture, and obviously we've got 9 muffins, which I think is pretty good. It said 6 and I've got 9, which, you know, they're not small muffins by any stretch of the imagination, so I think that's pretty good. So obviously I've preheated my oven to 180 already, so I should just pop them in the oven now for kind of 25 minutes, and then hopefully they're going to turn out yummy. So back soon. So that's it, the muffins are ready, the oven is bleeping, so hopefully they're all good and ready. So we'll take them out. They're looking good. They smell absolutely delicious. So there they all are. They look really good. They're nice and chunky, they're nice and jaggedy, just kind of how they should be. Smelling absolutely lovely. So I've put them here on the cooling rack just for a couple of minutes, and then once they've kind of cooled down just slightly, I will obviously kind of, you know, take them out and pop them just on the cooling rack like that. And then hopefully we will just enjoy them on our road trip. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Thanks a lot then. Bye.